Okay, recording has started.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. All right, good afternoon and welcome everyone to our quarterly B2B Best Practices webinar. I'm Erin Hiles. I'm the Director of Programs and Events for Barron Inc., the Barron County Chamber. It's a pleasure to have all of you on Microsoft Teams with us today, and I'm so excited for Dana Henson joining us to share her knowledge, experience, and insider information with us. Before we dive in, we do have a few housekeeping rules for everybody. Today's session is being recorded, so we do ask that you keep your mics on mute for the duration of the session. If you do have a question, we are going to have a Q&A at the end. You can submit your question via the chat box. Haley on our team is going to share an example here in just a second. That pretty much covers our housekeeping rules, so I'm going to go ahead and introduce today's speaker. Dana Henson, PhD, is the Associate Dean for Graduate Programs and Outreach at WKU. Her experience includes leadership roles in both private and public sectors. She held an executive role with a billion-dollar multinational organization with oversight for several corporate functions, including strategic planning, change management, risk management, compensation and benefits, training and organizational development, employee communication, and governmental affairs. She has consulted and lectured on international management, most specifically competency attainment, for programs serving in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Russia, Austria, and Germany. Her consulting practice includes executive recruiting, coaching, and human resource development program design. Dr. Henson is a member of the International Society for Human Resource Management and World at Work. She is a member of the local Southern Kentucky Society for HR Management chapter, where she is a member of the board of directors. She is also a graduate of Leadership Bowling Green and has served on several nonprofit boards, including United Way of South Central Kentucky, Barron River Child Advocacy Center, the International Center, the Warren County Bowling Green International Festival, and Plumtree Montessori School. Dana, we're so excited to have you with us here today, and I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Okay, well, I am truly excited to be able to talk with you all today about one of the biggest topics around, which is artificial intelligence. And so what I'll do is I'll talk a little bit in general about AI, talk about some of the current applications, and then we will get in and start really using some of it to see how it might help your business or organization. So, AI is not a new thing. It has been around since the 1950s. And we really are seeing a big resurgence of it since OpenAI sort of delivered the application ChatGPT, OpenAI, kind of out to the masses. And that was done about a year ago. And to let you know how much greater the rate of adoption has been since it's gone out to the broader audience, within 1 week of that being released, the OpenAI application had 5 million users, which is an incredible number of users. And as the years gone on, that has increased even more. So a lot of people are thinking, why now? Why is AI so big? Well, we now have computing power to allow for the kinds of robust technology that we need to have in order to enjoy AI. And it's very difficult for most of us to get our minds around how AI even operates, because it has very much what's known as an exponential factor with it. So the reason that AI is able to deliver all of the kinds of things that it's able to deliver is because the technology is able to let folks train it. And then with that training comes additional capacity as a result of the exponential nature of this technology. So to give you an example of this, let's pretend that you've won the lottery, and you have won $5 million payout, but you can decide how you want it paid out. So if you see on the screen, you can see several different options. Option A, you can take your one-time payout of $5 million, or you can have steady growth of the money, starting with an initial one-time payment of $1 million and then $100,000 every day for 30 days. Or you can have incremental growth where you start with $100,000 and then you have incremental growth of $100,000 a day. Or you can have exponential growth with a 50% increase every day. And for option D, you'll see you have a one-time payment of $1,000, and then every day for 30 days, you'll have 50% or a 50% increase. And then your final option is exponential growth with a 75% increase every day with a one-time investment of $1 and then the 75% increase every day. So now, if you will, in the chat, put which option you think would be the best option for you. And Aaron, if you or Haley could kind of keep a tally of what the folks are saying via chat, because I'm not able to see chat right now.
Absolutely.
Okay. So again, consider these different options and record in the chat. Do you prefer A, B, C, D, or E?
Right now, we are seeing 3 for option D, 4 for option D, 1 for option E.
Mhm.
We have 5 for D and 1 for E.
Okay.
We are up to 7 for D and 1 for E so far.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at what these options offer us. Okay. All right. So no one said this in this group, but of course, if you were at option A, you would be at the $5 million level. Option B, you would be at the $4 million level. Option C, you would be at the $46,600,000 level. Oh, option E, look at option E, 26 million. And then for all of you who selected option D, dun, 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 383,501,000. So the correct answer for this was in fact option D with a 50% increase every day, starting with the $1,000 amount. Now, I've done this presentation. This is probably the 12th time that I've done this presentation in the last 2 or 3 months. And in face-to-face groups, folks will pick all over the board. You all are one of the better groups to have picked option D so much, because option D almost never gets picked. And so you can see with this illustration, you all definitely were on point with this. The issue with the exponential nature of artificial intelligence is that the calculations that take place as a result of the training and the learning and the way that it can teach itself and keep growing in its capabilities is exponential. And so it's very difficult for humans to get their minds around the exponential nature, because we just can't operate at that level, but artificial intelligence can. As I mentioned earlier, artificial intelligence has been around for a long time, and it's in our daily lives so much. 27 billion people, for example, are using wearable AI now. 80% of content on Netflix is recommended by artificial intelligence. 35% of homes operate with, your smart speaker or your Alexa. And then how many of us use Waze to make sure that we can travel somewhere more efficiently? Waze is also
We're wearing a knob and we have our watch on.
is now
Oh, we are? So it is, or where people use a wearable, I know.
Hey Aaron, what was that?
Yes,
Okay, you
I'm
good?
trying to see.
Okay, all right.
right.
And then 2.8 billion people use Facebook, and of course that has information curated.
Thank you.
by artificial intelligence. Okay. All right. But as we think about artificial intelligence, one of the really cool things to think about is the impact that it can potentially have on our world. A lot of people are really frightened about some of the things that artificial might do or can do. But when we look at some of the positive ways that it can impact our lives, we can think about things like healthcare. And so 79% of surveyed medical professionals think AI will improve personalized care. And it's anticipated that by 2025, 90% of hospitals will use AI for patient monitoring and early detection. And here's the really exciting part. The diagnostics area with AI is predicted to reduce the cost of medical costs by about $20 billion by 2025, because it's gonna help take care of some of the administrative and diagnostic costs. A second area where we expect to see a lot of society impact relates to the autonomous vehicles. So it's expected by 2050 that autonomous vehicles could reduce traffic fatalities by up to 90%. And that is one of the key statistics, because when you look at human death with vehicles, lots of times it's human error. And so these autonomous vehicles are cars or trucks are projected to reduce traffic fatalities in that way. And then we're also seeing it impact personal financial management. And it is now a statistic that financial well-being is improved with smarter personal finance, and that now there are about $1.23 trillion assets that are under management that employs artificial intelligence now, or last year in 2023. That was the latest information reported. And so artificial intelligence is going to be very impactful as we would think about it from society. Now, I of course am a professor in a business college, and since I have been looking at artificial intelligence, what I'm thinking about is, how is this going to potentially impact the businesses of our region and then the businesses of the world? And so we'll talk a little bit about some of the ways it'll do that. But as we're thinking about this thing called artificial intelligence, it is going to have some very broad, far-reaching kinds of impact on our world, as discussed here. So artificial intelligence by the numbers. It is projected that by 2025, 75 million jobs will be displaced. This is one of the numbers that is out there and around, and it causes a lot of fear among people. But there will be net jobs created, because as a result of artificial intelligence, there will be 133 million jobs created. And so we know that a lot of very rote kinds of job tasks will be performed by machines. And it is projected by 2025 that as much as 52% of those rote job tasks can be performed by machines. If we look ahead until 2030, we can expect that AI will add $13 trillion to the global economy. And so we're going to see a lot of change, a lot of shifting in job architecture. And it's projected that 14% of the workforce will change occupational categories due to AI advancements. So while we may be losing some of the jobs that require very simple, predictable kinds of task functions, our jobs are going to branch out and grow and morph into new jobs, new higher level kinds of jobs. So what do we need to do? Well, first of all, we have to have basic education and training for everyone, because AI now is so much part of our life, and it's going to continue to be. We are going to have to prepare everyone in our community to have a basic understanding of it. So the first set of skills that we need to have for that is AI literacy. So we need to understand what it is. And we need to be able to recognize when we are using it and when we are not. That's AI literacy. How many of you all, if you can indicate via chat, how many of you all have started getting on social media or in email some kind of interaction that is coming from artificial intelligence? How many of you all are already recognizing that as something in your world? If you can raise your hand in the chat.
We have quite a few that looks like they're saying it.
Yes, all the friend requests on Facebook and
Yep.
different places, right? So it's important to understand kind of some of those key features so that we can recognize when we are using it and when we are not. Because even though AI can do great things, there are many things that it cannot do. So we always have to stay on high alert to understand what we're dealing with so that we'll be able to critically assess and evaluate the information that we are being given or fed. Okay. The second grouping of skills has to do with actual sort of technical skills. And the first skill that we're going to need to have broadly is what's called prompting or prompt engineering. And this is a skill that we need right now to operate ChatGPT, which is the generative AI that has become all the rage in the last year. And so we have to learn how to speak to artificial intelligence so that we can make sure that we get the best information out. And part of that involves knowing how to interact with AI protocol and to use good manners. Because remember, no matter what AI platform you are using, the technology has learned how to answer questions and how to deal with things by looking at all of this information, all of these interactions, all of this language from a particular culture. So as it's learning, it picks up what is appropriate, polite language and what is not. And so, for example, we know with AI, and we've known for a long time, that if you are if you're typing in a request to AI and you say, please give me an outline of best practices for pet grooming businesses handling small dogs, then it is going to give you probably a better answer than if you just say, give me the best practices for a pet shop with that grooms small dogs. If you add the niceties, then it tends to form better answers, and we know that. But another interesting thing that we have learned is that it will give you even better answers if you say, if you give me a good answer, I will tip you. If you say that, then the standard or the level of answers even becomes better. So understanding those skills that are needed to deal with AI and interact with AI and some of the tips, this is going to be key to being able to use it to the most efficient and effective way possible. The third area that we're going to need to make sure that we all get has to do with ethics and responsible use. So we're going to have to understand what access to AI means and what impact AI or the use of an AI solution can have on whoever is affected by that technology. We need to understand the biases that can happen with AI. We need to understand what happens to the data when you plug it into an AI application. And we need to understand that even though AI technology is out there, we totally have to critically evaluate it to make sure that the information is right. And so these are all skills, all of us as business owners, as members of the community, we need to be aware of the importance of these broad competencies needed for society in order to move forward productively with AI. So I thought that you all might like a demonstration of AI. How does that sound? Yes?
That works for us.
Does that work for you? Okay. All right. I am getting to Chat GPT. Do you see my Chat GPT screen?
Yes.
Okay. So Aaron, what kind of business would you like me to demonstrate Chat GPT for?
Let's do, we just had a local bakery open up on the square, so let's do that.
A local bakery. Okay. All right. A local bakery. All right. So I am in Chat GPT now, and this Chat GPT is a product of OpenAI. And so they just pretty much open this up to the world. And then you can get in and you can do things like, plan a trip, um, put together a work schedule, get get a plan for a presentation that you're making to a company that you're trying to do a sales, you're trying to do sales to. You can do all kinds of different things with OpenAI. But as they made it broader, remember that anything that we put in ChatGPT, we are putting out into the universe. And so there are actually lawsuits because people not realizing the ethical implication of this, put out customer data into the place where I'm getting ready to type a prompt. And then once you put the customer data out there, what do you think happens to it? It is then out there, and you may have a breach of confidentiality, depending on what kind of data you put out there. So you have to be very mindful of where your data is going. Now, we're going to do something fairly generic, and this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, please prepare a listing of regionally popular cookies with regionally themed flavors for a bakery located on the square in Glasgow, Kentucky. Make the names snazzy, and I will tip you well. Mammoth Cave Molasses Mystique. That sounds like a cookie name, doesn't it?
That sounds like a good cookie name. Kind of want a
Look,
cookie now.
Appalachian Apple Butter Rounds. Yeah. Louisville Lemon Chest Charmer. That sounds pretty good. Okay. So as you can see, this could really provide a bakery with some insight, some ideas, sort of a jumping off point for the consideration of some cookies that are kind of regionally themed. And so, that's a fun thing. Okay. All right. What about another business? Might another business like to see?
Can we do a local boutique specializing in women's clothing?
Absolutely. Okay. So with this local boutique, let's say, how many part-time employees does this local boutique have?
They probably have around 4.
Okay. All right. Let's make a work schedule for this local boutique. Okay. What are the boutique's hours?
Let's say Tuesday through Saturday and 10 to 7.
Okay. Operates 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Tuesday through Saturday. And can work 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. During the work week. Aaron can work 10 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. Haley can work 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. What is that? 1, 2, 3. Okay. There you go. So what do you think about that?
That is pretty awesome. So
Isn't
cool.
it? So, when you're thinking about AI and, of course there's generative AI, which is about, kinds of text applications. There's machine, and that's a form of machine learning. And then, of course, there are robotics, and there are all of these much more sophisticated forms of AI that large organizations can use, and it can almost be overwhelming to think about how you might use it for your small business. But when you think about things like schedule making, let's say you're doing research for a company that you're trying to sell to, or you will be making a presentation to, you can use ChatGPT to get the kinds of information that you would like. Now, let's shift gears a little bit. With OpenAI, they also have an art creator within ChatGPT. And you can also access this through an application called DALL-E 2. And to give you an idea of what this looks like, and it'll take a little bit longer than some of the text applications do. But let's say, for example, you have someone that needs to make collateral for flyers or presentation or social media. Then you can actually get AI to make the collateral for you. And so, like, for example, I can say, please create a watercolor drawing of the Louis Nunn Barren River State Park with a cartoon character riding a horse on the front parking lot. Now, I don't know what this is going to look like, but let's see. So I have created down here in this box, this prompt, and it's going to be, please create a watercolor drawing of the Louis Nunn Barren River State Park Lodge with a cartoon character riding a horse on the front parking lot. Okay, let's see what it does. Yeah, these take a little bit longer, but they're pretty cool when you see them. Let's see. There we go. Look at that.
That is amazing.
Is
That is
anybody
so
blown-
neat.
Is anybody blown away by this? I love this. And so, you know, one of the other ones that I always like to do, I always like to do once I said create an oil painting of a coal miner smoking a cigar in a red Corvette with a UK shirt on. And of course, I didn't mean UK as in Britain. I meant UK as in Wildcats. But this is what it gave me. And so this part of ChatGPT is Dolly. Now, my background is in human resources, and in terms of the human resources applications for small businesses and small organizations, you know, there are just many, many of them. And job descriptions, preparing job descriptions is always one of those tasks that the start stops us a lot of times because it's it's kind of a difficult thing to get started on some job descriptions. So this is an application that organizations can use. So Aaron, do we have any HR folks on the call? Is anybody there?
Oh, sorry. I just realized my mic wasn't on. I don't think so, but if we have anyone in the chat that does work in HR, let us know.
Right. Are there any applications that any of you all would like to see? Are there? What kinds of companies do we have in the chat?
Let's see. We have a couple nonprofits.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Let me show you some of the nonprofit information. Let's see here. So nonprofits, how can nonprofits leverage AI? Well, one of the things that is really cool about AI is it allows you to customize your messages to donors. And so let's say you want to develop a spring giving campaign letter going to donors ages 50 and over who support children's charities because of their affiliation with Little League sports in the past with their children, let's say. I will tip you if you provide a compelling reason for them to donate $1,000 this year. Okay. So develop a spring giving campaign letter going to donors ages 50 and over who support children's charities because of their affiliation with Little League sports in the past with their children. I will tip you if you provide a compelling reason for them to donate $1,000 this year. Okay, so what did you all think about that?
It's so fascinating how specific that it can get for you.
Yes.
Just provide it with enough details. That's pretty
Uh,
awesome.
Absolutely. Okay. So this is ChatGPT, and in ChatGPT, this is where you could have it, have a letter or let's see, provide me with the top 10 things a pet groomer should know about small business in Kentucky. Okay. So if you're doing research, if you are creating business plans, all of these kinds of things can really be supported through ChatGPT. And when you start thinking about the applications you can buy that are linked to a GPT type technology, this is where you get your robots from. This is, or your chatbots. This is where you get some of that automatic information. And as you think about how you can use this information for the future, one of the key points is to understand that you have to critically evaluate everything that ChatGPT is giving you, because ChatGPT is not always right. There are some things that it can do very well. There are some things that it cannot do very well. It is learning to do things better. Right now, there is sort of a science to prompt engineering, or writing these prompts for this information in ChatGPT. And so a lot of people are like, oh, we're going to need to have training classes on, actually developing these prompts and prompt engineering. And that is true for now, but the technology is changing so much that even prompt engineering is going to get easier and easier and easier. And so at any rate, we have to always critically assess the information and make sure that um, we know that the information is good, that it is providing. Because when it first was launched, you could say, provide me with information and then tell me where you got it. And when it would give you the reference piece of it, sometimes it would completely fabricate the references and they wouldn't even exist. And so that's called hallucination. When you get a really strange answer out of ChatGPT, it or other AI, it's because it is hallucinating. And even in the pictures, for example, if you ever see a picture that's generated by AI and it's a person that otherwise looks normal, except maybe they have like 7 fingers or 3 arms, those are things that come out of AI that we call hallucinations, where AI just didn't get it all right. So let me show you another product that is really cool. And the last time that I presented this, someone asked me, they were like, well, how did you find these programs that you use? Well, when ChatGPT became a thing and I started using it, then I would hear about another product and I would go and either buy a subscription and learn it. And so the ones that I'm showing you today are just samples and examples. There are tons out there virtually for everything. But the first one that I will show you is Gamma. And let's see if I can get to Gamma. Okay, maybe I'll show you Synthesia first. Okay, I will show you Synthesia first. So, Gamma, can you all see the Gamma link on your pages?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, so Gamma is an application that lets you use AI to develop kind of whatever you want to develop. And so you can see these are examples of all kinds of different presentations that I have created. So let's create a new presentation here with AI. We're going to generate it from a one-line prompt in a few seconds, and then it's going to make a presentation for us. Okay. Now, what would we like to create today?
I see a couple different banks and financial institutions on the call today.
Okay, let's see. So back. So let's do something from the banking standpoint. Let's see. We're going to say create a presentation to potential home buyers about the process of buying a new home using a lake house on Barren River Lake as the example. As example. Okay, let's see what it does. So the first thing it will do is it will provide you with topics. So here are the topics. And if this looks like probably, you know, good topics, bankers, does this look like a good structure for a presentation to a group of folks?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, let's see what we do here with Gamma. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. We can preview themes and colors, and let's go with this one. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. And so this is an AI application that creates this information for you, which is like the structure and basic content for a presentation. And then you can save this to PowerPoint or to whatever you would like. But this application is called Gamma, And you can do the same thing that I just did for this presentation for a document, other applications. But so anyway, so this is Gamma. And then I'm going to try to get back into Synthesia, which can really be mind-blowing. So Synthesia is a video maker. And with this video maker, what you can do is you can put in a script. And like, let's say, you can type in a script, and then it will generate a video. And so it will have options for artificial intelligence people. And then this avatar will actually read your script, and you can make the script be in any language. So you can make it be in Spanish or Croatian or just Chinese. It can just be in anything. Let me see if I can get you all to where I've made some videos to show you. So these are all the different little videos that I have created using this product, okay? And so, for example, here I did a project with the Warren County Contractors Association. And so I made a little ditty on hiring in the construction industry. And so this was the avatar that I did. So here, so like if we were going to make a new video, we could we could start with a blank video like this, and we could pick our avatar. So we could pick Natalie or James, Gary, the construction guy, Nora, Sidoni, whoever we want. We get to pick the avatar that we want. Let's see. Let's pick Samuel. And then we can say, and we can type the script, and whatever we type, it's going to say. That's cool, but that's not the coolest. The coolest thing is that we can have him talk like a professional that sounds like this. Okay. We can have him be calm. We can make him be candid. Oops, sorry about that. We can okay. So that is English with a Chinese kind of dialect from Hong Kong. But if you look at the number of languages that are available, the kinds of languages that are available, there's lots and lots of different languages. And then you can also change, whether it's robust or calm or professional or casual. You have a lot of different things that you can can do to make the video your own. And so we use this for micro learning with some of the businesses and organizations that we work at with the college. And it lets us have, different actors in all of these different videos. And it allows us to have a nice mix of all ages and demographics for, the different training videos that we're doing. So that's definitely a value add. So these are 3 different applications for artificial intelligence that may be helpful. ChatGPT, which is generative AI, which is the first technology that we looked at. And it will let you structure presentations, write reports, write letters, write proposals, create processes, write job descriptions, all of those kinds of things that might improve administrative efficiency for your organization. Then I also provided you with a preview of what a presentation kind of AI technology could do. And then this one is, of course, on videos and training and informational items. And so I am sure you all want to talk about this now. So what kinds of thoughts do you have around AI, or questions do you have?
Yeah, so we'll go ahead, open the chat box. I think we have a good enough crowd. If anyone wants to unmute and directly ask, that is fine too.
I do have a question. This is when when I work with Goodwill. We do we have career coaches in all of our stores, and they do a lot of case management. We work with people in recovery and that have some barriers and things like that. And we use Salesforce as our reporting. And I mean, I'm just asking for direction or how we can, if you know of anything that we might be able to do with AI in our system, like a system like Salesforce.
Oh, well,
It's a case management kind of thing.
Right. So I am certain that Salesforce will be coming out with some tools related to this if they don't already have them, probably as another module or something that you could that you could use. So I'm not familiar with Salesforce AI specific, although we do use Salesforce in the graduate programs at WKU. So I'm familiar with that. Some things that might be interesting to look at with the information that you do have in Salesforce would relate to like the predictive analytics. So for example, you could get your data and look at your data to find out, what are the characteristics that your data shows for predicting a successful outcome in a job placement. And you could get all kinds of information around that, what your underlying factors are, your days till placed, all that kind of information would come out of some sort of predictive analytics application that you're looking at. But, I could see for Goodwill and for your job coaches, I know they are having a lot of appointments with people. And the complex nature of scheduling and integrating all of the kinds of external things that you all do, the job fairs, the industry visits, all of that, I would think that AI could really help with the scheduling and shed some of the administrative burden off of scheduling applications. Your career coaches, I'm not sure if they have to help the folks that you all serve put together resumes. I'm sure they do.
They do.
you can actually feed in like a resume into that chat GPT, and you could say something like, please review this resume and note any gaps, issues, or information that might be of concern. And then it can give you your list of items from a resume to to try to improve or to fill in the gaps. Sometimes employers will require cover letters. You can write a cover letter like that with Chat GPT by you can feed it the job posting, the job information, and then put in the resume and say, please customize this cover letter, and see right now, even doing that in AI is like outside of some kind of application like Gamma or Synthesia, you're really, you're kind of doing it manually in AI right now, but you can get some really good results out of that. Okay. Does that help?
All right, thank you. Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Great. Okay. What else? Let's see. Linnea? Is that
Yeah, that was me.
that was you? Okay. All right. Okay. Anyone else?
Let's see, I think we have one. Wes, I see your hand raised if you want to unmute.
Yes, can you hear me okay?
I can.
Yes, sir.
Oh. Okay, so my question is referring to language translation. And basically what I'm getting is if I try to take things that go from, say, English to Spanish, when it translates it in AI, I have people that speak that native language that says it's not really how we say it. Is there a way to sort of address how you type in what you want the AI to translate?
Okay, so language models, natural language processing models are part of the wave of artificial intelligence. And, we've had Google Translate, we've had other products out there that have had those same issues, Wes, for some time. And now with natural language processing, because we have so much more data, in general, that is supposed to be improving, because now the amount of data to train the models is much more comprehensive. So I think that that's really going to be a function of that technology continuing to develop and improve.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. Anyone else?
Lindy,
we can see your
do you have a
hand.
question?
Hey, this is Cheryl with Abound Credit Union. Can you hear me?
Mhm.
So I've been doing some reading and research on AI as well. And one of the things that I read was human in the loop, the HITL. So could you just speak a little bit about that?
Okay, so when you think about human in the loop, that goes back to some of the things that I've said over the course of our discussion, which is, you have to have human eyes critically evaluating, asking the right questions to make sure that the information coming out of AI is appropriate and correct, and also ethical in terms of the purpose it's serving. And so, one of the things, one of the examples that I like to think about when explaining AI and human involvement has to do with, like, let's say buses. In the old days, your transportation system would have, 12 buses with 12 bus drivers and, maybe a dispatcher at a central place. Well, as AI continues to develop, maybe if these buses are all autonomous, you're no longer going to have 12 bus drivers, but you will have to have that human interaction at taking care of different responsibilities and just dispatching these buses or, the equipment in that service because they are going to be monitoring at that higher level kind of what's going on. So they're not just going to be wondering if the bus is getting to point A or from point A to point B. They're also going to have to be, they're going to also have to monitor those aspects of technology that those autonomous buses are going to have. So instead of having that one dispatcher job for those 12 buses, you're going to have maybe 2 jobs that are going to be monitoring those critical elements of that technology. So they're, making sure that, that nothing's malfunctioning in the system and that the data is coming to let them know, what is going on with that autonomous bus. So whenever you think about artificial intelligence and the human aspect, remember that AI can do some things very well, some of the complex tasks, but anything right now that is uniquely human in nature in terms of emotional intelligence and those kinds of things, it's going to have to require a human because AI is simply not going to be equipped to handle that right now. Was that helpful, Cheryl?
Yeah, absolutely. So, with the way that AI is supposed to learn from itself, are you assuming or thinking that maybe it's going to pick up maybe some of that emotional intelligence, or like Wes was asking, like with picking up the dialect, or the way that they speak their language?
Yes, and that again comes from the voluminous amount of data now that we are gathering every day. And so, as you saw, I put like the data that I put in there then becomes part of that overall, world of data. And I may have mentioned this already. I think I did. There is a lawsuit right now, I think against Samsung. And there was somebody in the organization that was just playing around with ChatGPT, and they actually fed it all of their customer data, including protected information. And so, in essence, they created a huge data breach because they didn't have that understanding that, when you're feeding your information into this, if you don't have a private pool of data that you're manipulating, then what you're doing is you're putting it out there in the universe, and that can definitely be problematic or cause a breach. And people don't know, they're thinking, oh, this is just a cool thing that I'm doing. And that's why the education piece with AI is so important, because we all need to know when we're dealing with AI, what we're dealing with, how to deal with it ethically and appropriately. Yep. Let's see, Lindy. Did I say Lindy?
Yes, this is Tara Bailey with YMCA.
Hi.
I'm actually Lindy today. Yes.
Okay.
So with ChatGPT, there's a free version, but you can also buy into it for, I guess, more options, things like that. What is your experience with that?
Okay. So OpenAI has a subscription service. So when they started, I think it was Chat 3, it was maybe the Chat 3 version, maybe the Chat 3.5 version. But when you got on it, it was free, and you could play around on it for free for a while. But then it started limiting the number of prompts that you could give it. So maybe, it would limit you to like 4 or 5 a day. And then it got to where it would not let you in because of traffic. And so when those traffic kinds of things happened, that's when I decided that I wanted to go ahead and be a subscriber, because then you could get in. And so I pay about $20 a month for OpenAI. And so now, I can pretty much get in whenever I want. And with my subscription, I am, full disclosure, not a techie person at all. My interest in AI is from the organizational development area, administrative improvement areas for organizations. As a business professor, I think this is going to be revolutionary. A lot of people call this a printing press moment, if you all are familiar with that term. It's kind of like when the printing press was created, it changed the world forever. That's what they're saying generative AI is going to do for the business world. So I did buy that, but along with the generative AI applications that are included in it, there's also code. And so, for example, if you're a tech person and you're writing some kind of code and it has a bug, then you can actually copy and paste your code into this OpenAI paid subscription part, and it will debug your code for you. And so, that's one of the things. So I think that type of product, has a subscription, has a free component. And then when you go out and you start looking at all of the different items, like I just had a subscription expire to a product called Jasper AI. And it was one of my favorite ones to showcase because it is the marketing AI. And so it was a paid subscription. I think it cost it was expensive, like maybe $400 a year, but I could put in information about a business, and just different tag words, key lines, topics, etc. And then it had like 34 different templates that I could run that information to, and it would create me a complete marketing campaign. It would give me long LinkedIn posts, tweets, long Facebook features, short Facebook features, just all kind, and it would just like automatically generate the content for the social media campaign. Now, there are free things out there, but what you'll find when you look for these AI, free applications in these different areas, it'll just give you a limited number of things that you're able to do, and then your ability will stop. But they tend to be, I think, like all of the products that I've bought have been yearly subscriptions. And I think Jasper AI was maybe Jasper AI was 600. While I think Synthesia was the one that was $400 for the year subscription. They're all over the board in terms of cost. But for small organizations, ChatGPT, you can just do an awful lot to make your life easier with ChatGPT. If nothing else, it gives you the structure, the outlines, basic information, jumping off points, that can really be helpful for the small business. Okay. Anything else?
I think we have time for one more question if anyone has that. If not, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. Dana, thank you so much. The information you shared is just phenomenal. I've been taking notes the whole entire time, so excited to implement some things there. Again, thank you to everyone who hopped on today. This is recorded, so we will have this on our website and our social channels by the end of the week. If there's no other questions, we'll go ahead and end today's session, and we'll see you at another chamber event soon.
Right. Thank you all. Happy AI-ing.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.